Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You're listening to Rewatch Culture, the podcast where we circle back and talk about our favorite Black TV shows that raised us, healed us, and angered us in many ways, but they are always going to live rent-free in our minds. I'm your host, Shanaye, your resident elder millennial and professional rewatcher. Let's get into it. Hi, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Rewatch Culture. This week, we're diving into episodes 7 through 9 of A Different World, and Hillman was getting chaotic, a little messy, but hilarious in all the ways that we needed it to be. So let's start off with episode 7. This episode is all about homecoming at Hillman. So Jaleesa and Maggie are out here plotting to steal this bear head from the rival schools. I don't know what it is with so many shows that we've watched over our childhood into adulthood, like homecoming and stealing somebody else's mascot always seems to be a big deal. But I never experienced that in my actual real life. What about you guys out there? Were you ever a part of stealing the mascot's bear head? But Denise's granddad, he shows up. First off, he shows up with his friend who is allegedly like 2 years younger than him, but you couldn't tell. But he was thirsty for Miss Stevie. Sir, you had to be at least 20 years her senior, if I had to guess it. And he was recently divorced, so this man is just out there doing the most. Grandpa, stop. But Dwayne Wayne also meets her granddad. He says, "It's a thrill to meet the man who created the man who created Denise. My boy was down bad." Somehow, Dwayne finds himself in the middle of both Denise and her grandfather trying to steal this bear head. Like, it was a very much big deal. And what's hilarious that they both told Dwayne, like, don't tell the other one, because Denise thought her grandfather would be ashamed. And then he told Dwayne, well, once you reach a certain age, you have a certain persona that you have to keep up. So I thought that was funny. At the end of it all, they worked together and were able to steal the bear, so that was nice. And then Jaleesa got herself a solo in the choir up there, and Homegirl was singing down. I was proud of her. That was awesome to see. That was episode 7, all about homecoming and stealing the bear. On to episode 8. So Denise joined the track team. And she immediately regrets it once she hears that they have to practice every day. I myself remember growing up and we were in high school and my father told us, you either play a sport or you get a job. So I played a season of soccer and never again. I am not Sporty Spice. That is not for me. I clocked in and got me a job. Okay. Tell you what. But there was a guy on Denise's team who was super sweet to her. And because she was thinking about quitting the team because she just felt like out of place. She felt like everybody else really loved the sport, loved what they were doing. She immediately regretted it. And the workouts were so hard. But he let her know that he's tried to quit the team before and they all have those same feelings together. So that was awesome. Whitley is back with her one-liners. She is doing yoga in the quad and Denise is coming down because she has to go to practice. And Whitley hits her with, well, somebody has to finish last. Honest to goodness, this season 1, they have given Whitley the best lines. She will irritate you, but you cannot say that girl is not funny. So another part of the episode is Jaleesa at one point asked the girls to name a song that they're embarrassed to admit that they like. And the songs that they picked are actually great songs. Rocking Robin, Let's Get Physical, the theme song from Rocky, those are great songs. But I wanted to ask all of you out there who are listening, what is a song you're embarrassed to admit that you like? So, of course, I'll go first. I'll spray my own tea. My embarrassing favorite song is Party People by Fergie and Nelly. If you know, you know. Don't judge me too much, but I want you to drop yours in the comments. I want to hear from you all. Lastly, let's move into episode 9 here. In this episode, David Allen Greer plays like a hot professor that all of the girls are into. I'm talking these girls are into him in the way they're wearing dresses, makeup, hair done, heels on at 9 a.m. Couldn't be me. First off, I can't walk in heels. It's just not something I learned how to do. But Denise is me. All the girls have on heels and she has on Converse sneakers. So I love that. Whitley was laying it on thick in that class when she was trying to impress the professor. Like, girl, you're giving Dwayne Wayne thirsty levels. Relax. Then all the girls are kind of gathered around the TV and they're talking about this professor. And you could tell Denise was falling in love because she was taking it so personal how they were talking about him. They were like, he wears nice suits. And then other girls would be like, and I want to see what's under those suits. They had it bad for Mr. Byron. They're in the library and Stevie walks by Maggie all in Byron's space. And then she walks by and sees Denise and Byron talking. So she tries to pull him to the side and let him know, hey, these girls are not studying those rocks. They are studying you. He didn't like this. So they had a little moment there where they just didn't agree. So, Big Mouth Dwayne is over there and he sees what's going on, but clearly he can't hear the whole conversation and get the context. So he goes back to the hall. This man couldn't stay out of the girls' hall, but he goes and he tells Whitley that Byron is seeing Stevie and they kind of had like a lover's quarrel in the library. So then Denise comes down and they're like, somebody's got to break it to her. So Whitley goes and breaks it to her and decided to add her own seasoning because next thing you know, she claimed that Stevie slapped Byron. Like, girl, talk about the telephone game falling apart right in front of your eyes. By the end of the episode, Denise gets her feelings hurt. She thought her and Byron were kind of vibing there, but she realizes that her crush was just a fantasy. So then she tries to play matchmaker between Stevie and Byron. Also, what I've noticed, these episodes, still not much plot moving along because what happened to Denise being on the track team? We saw one episode and that was it. But anywho, we are not doing the one word for the characters this week. I just really wasn't pulling much from the episodes to do that. So I actually want to transition to a different thing that I do weekly on the podcast here, and that's Shanaye's favorite line of the week. And this week, it goes to Mr. Dwayne Wayne himself for in episode 7 when he said, it's a thrill to meet the man who created Denise. The boy was so in love with Denise. It was wild. I thought it was cute and corny that he said that, but that was my favorite line of these 3 episodes. I want to get into this week's Rewatch Revelations. So these are the things that hit us completely different now that I'm watching this show as a grown woman with bills, boundaries, and, I've got some therapy under my belt. This section is just to talk about what stands out to me now that I missed maybe my first or second rewatch. Something that really stood out to me throughout these episodes is how much this show really is about identity. Okay, so not just who these characters are, but who they're trying to be. That was also me in college, trying to figure out what I wanted, but trying not to disappoint my parents at the same time. Take Denise, for example. Watching her as a kid, I just thought she was quirky, indecisive, and that she was just kind of floating through the clouds in her mind. But now as I look at her, I see a young woman who's trying to figure out where she fits in this world, where she fits with her family. She joins the track team and she immediately regrets it, but she doesn't want to disappoint anybody. Denise will stick with things that no longer serve her just because she doesn't want to disappoint anybody. And I can say to you right now, I have been a people pleaser for a lot of my life. And at this big age, almost 40, it's getting easier to say no. Like, I'm not always available. I need to take the time for myself. Denise is just figuring out where she wants to be. We've all been there. And even Miss Whitley herself, we don't know just yet what's going on, but there's something deeper going on there because I like to think that how she acts is not really who she is. So I'm excited to continue to see her develop as we are watching the show. But right now, you kind of see the cracks forming. You're seeing that humanity in her. She's not always just one line reads that cut you to your core. But that is what I saw as my revelations as an adult that I didn't see before for these episodes. Were there anything that stood out to you guys now as you're rewatching versus, the first or second time you saw the show? If there is, let me know. All right, folks, that's this week's batch of episodes. Don't forget to drop your embarrassing favorite songs in the comments because I want to know. And I'll see you next Sunday for the next episode of Rewatch Culture. Thank you. Bye. And before you dip, go ahead and leave a rating and review. It really helps me grow, and it costs absolutely nothing to show your girl a little bit of love. For more nostalgia and chaos between episodes, though, which, reminder, drop every Sunday, follow at Rewatch Culture Pod on all your socials. Thanks for joining me today.